Well, we had the hearing on June 4th, and the board recommended that I be separated from the individual ready reserve with a general discharge. And then it went to Brigadier General Moore, and he passed on it because I sent him an email telling him to go F himself, I guess, and he received a barrage of emails from Clout listeners and from other people who sent in emails of support for me and telling him that the case should be thrown out. And he passed it on to Lieutenant General Bergman, who approved it just last Monday on the 11th, which was exactly 1 week before I was going to get out of the inactive reserve anyways. My time expired just Monday, 2 days ago. So that was fun. And we're waiting for the paper from the Marine Corps right now, but as soon as we get it, we're going to be appealing to the Board of Naval Record Corrections. And that's a normal appeals process for anybody who gets anything less than an honorable for a discharge if they think it's not justified. And we'll see what happens there, but just as I think it was for the hearings, the decision will probably be predetermined. But if they don't upgrade it to an honorable, then we have grounds to take it to federal court, and if we go to federal court, we've got 30 years of precedent on our side, along with Article 2 of the UCMJ, which says it doesn't apply to members of the inactive reserve, and my enlistment contract. The actual contract that you sign says, I realize that I'm subject to all rules and regulations governing the armed forces while on active or active drilling status. So clearly, you know, not intended to apply to the inactive reserve. And then, you know, we're also taking the case to Congress to ensure that the military knows that it's not supposed to be using its funds for such ridiculous cases as this.
Now, your first avenue of appeal is within the UCMJ or no?
Yes, the Board of Naval Record Corrections is, well, it's not actually within the UCMJ, but it's governed by the UCMJ. So, yeah, we have that one-step appeal. It's kind of a unique quirk of military law, but we have to, you know, practice or exercise exhaustion before we can take it to a federal court.
Yeah. And now, how many tours did you do?
I did one tour in Fallujah from February to September 2004 with the Marine Corps Civil Affairs Group.
Okay. And then your inactive is what, a 2-year hitch?
Well, my contract is 6 + 2, yes, as a reservist.
Yeah.
And I did a year in the delayed entry program, so that counts against the 2 years. And then when I was activated the second time, I volunteered to be activated for a year, and my time was up June 8th, or my year would start June 18th of 2006, and I stayed on active duty until November 30th, so that went into my IR time. So it's really only from November 30th, when I was discharged from active duty, till June 18th, the expiration of my 8-year contract.
And does that have, does the downgrading have anything to, any effect on your benefits?
A general discharge wouldn't, and other than honorable would have.
80% of their vehicles.
But only because I've already used all the GI Bill benefits that I'm eligible for.
Yeah, it's more.
Really?
And you know,
do you have any like long-term
no standards guy
effects of having served?
For me?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I do have, through the VA, I'm qualified for 2 years of full medical care, which I would have lost had I received the OTH. And then I developed hypertension when I came back from Iraq at the age of 23, and I have a elbow bursitis that may need an operation soon. And those are, you know, service-related injuries that you qualify for lifetime care for, and that I would have lost.
And what do you see the motivation for them behind
much more money
downgrading your discharge?
Their industry would actually
No, the entire process is meant to intimidate veterans against speaking out against the administration's policies in Iraq. And you have to ask if the proponents of this policy believe that their cause is so just and so righteous, then why are they so afraid of the truth? But the procedure here would show that it's being used for intimidation. We all, members of IVAW who are being subject to this, and we received emails threatening to change our discharges before anything else, and it just so happened that they sent me this package saying they wanted to separate me with an OTH, and I said I'm going to put my foot down, and before you can give me an OTH, we got to have this separation hearing because that's their rules. And according to the packet that they sent me, I have a right to hold a hearing or call a hearing and make my case and have civilian representation and military representation and call witnesses and make a statement in my defense. So that's what we did. And we're going to keep fighting this until we put the military back in its place and show them that they can't misuse the UCMJ to intimidate veterans, and they can't do it for political purposes.
Yeah. Now, weren't they saying that, weren't the charges that you had spoken of in uniform? Or no? Was that another guy? Or,
well, the charges against me were for wearing the uniform at a protest, but it wasn't a protest, it was a street theater.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And there's actually a Supreme Court case that says that the provisions about the uniform and the regulations for wearing the uniform are not intended to apply, or are unconstitutional if applied to street theater, or any kind of theatrical production. So
this is where you were
right, we did. It was called Operation First Casualty, and it was called that because it has long been said that the first casualty of war is the truth. And the purpose of this particular demonstration was to bring a part of the truth home to the American public, who has largely forgotten that that a representation or representatives of our country imposing martial law on a sovereign nation on the other side of the world. And so we wanted to bring a small part of the truth of the occupation home by staging a mock combat patrol through DC. And we had civilians playing affected peoples. They weren't playing Iraqis or trying to speak Arabic or anything like that, but we treated them as Iraqis are treated on a daily basis, and they were accosted and frisked and searched and zip cuffed, and we put sandbags over their heads. And that's something that I actually had to be a part of during my tour in Iraq.
And now, if you continue doing things like that, will they continue to pursue you?
Well, actually, according to what they've done, they've separated me and ended my contract, so they have no jurisdiction over me now. But if they thought I was dangerous then, now it's on, because they messed with the wrong veteran.
We're going to introduce
Yes, my name is Pete Perry. I'm with the Washington Peace Center, and I'm introducing Tina Richards from Missouri, who came here as part of her organization Grassroots America, and she's been up on Capitol Hill every single day. Tina, why don't you tell us what you've been doing up on Capitol Hill?
Well, basically, I've been holding Congress's feet to the fire every day to be a voice of truth, to be a human face there in the halls of Congress. Often in Congress, they have absolutely no clue what humanity is. Everything's based around politics and what's politically correct. And I'm here to say no, it's about doing what's right for the people and for humanity. And they tend to lose sight of that. So I'm a face in the halls of Congress of a real person, there to hold their feet to the fire to make sure that they do the right thing. And when they don't do the right thing, I'm there to holler and scream and let them know that it's wrong. Until they do the right things, I'll continue to be there to holler and scream at them.
What are you howling and screaming at them about these days?
Ending the war.
Ending the war.
Ending the war. So that's the important thing right now. Impeachment is also important. My son was 17 when he enlisted in the Marines to honor, defend, to protect and defend the Constitution. He did not enlist to respect a president or to honor a president. He was there about the Constitution. And no, he did 2 tours. He's back. He's 80% disabled. And right now Congress is saying that it's a distraction to talk about impeachment. And to me, to say what my son has enlisted in the Marines and thought he was defending when he went to Iraq, dishonors his disability, dishonors what he's sacrificed and what our family has sacrificed. It's not a distraction. It's what the Constitution calls for Congress to do, which is impeachment. Although ending the war first, we've got to stop the bleeding, we've got to stop the killing and the maiming of the Iraqi people, of our troops, get them home, and then really hold this administration accountable for their crimes.
Great.
Done it.